Okay, so we are going to multiply by 2 digits today. So kind of an introduction here. Our job is to kind of remember how to do the box method or the area model with 2 digits, but also be able to move that knowledge into the standard algorithm. It's really good to have both sets of knowledge. That way you know how to do both methods and you can pull out both of those anytime you want. All right, so our first problem that we're going to do is we are going to start with something like 53, and 53 times 29 is going to be our problem. Now I'm going to solve this a couple different ways. The first is I'm going to activate that previous knowledge that you've already done. So last year in 4th grade, you learned how to do the box method or area model. That's what you do when you draw it. You have a kind of a box. You kind of sketch it out here, and of course, nice and pretty. And I'm going to kind of draw all these from lines in the middle. But we're going to decompose or break these down into, instead of saying 53, we're going to break that down into 50 and 3. And then we're going to decompose 29 into 20 and 9. So last year, all you had to do was multiply the numbers and use those patterns of zeros to fill in everything. So 50 times 20, I'm going to look at it as 5 times 2, which is 10. 1, 2 zeros, 1, 2 zeros. 3 times 20, 3 times 2 is 6, with that 0 attached, so 60. 50 times 9, 5 times 9, good, 45. Attaching that 0 on the end. Love patterns of zeros. 3 times 9, 27. Now, last year, once you had all this beautiful math, you came over here off to the side or down below, and then you added all of these numbers together. So you started off by saying 1,000, maybe, plus 450, plus 60, plus 27. I'd like for you to pause this so you can add these numbers up. Okay. So let's check your work. You should have went through here and you should have got 7 on the first column. 6 plus 5 is 11 plus 2, 12, 13. 13, carry my 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 1 plus nothing is 1. So you should have ended up with 1,537 as your answer. Now, this method is beautiful, but there might be a faster way to do this with the standard algorithm. You can choose whichever method you want. But we have been working with kind of like where we would take 53 times 9, and we would take that 9 and multiply it through everything up here on the top row. That same thing is going to apply down here. So let's say I now have, 53. If I was using the standard algorithm, 53 times 29. All right. So the first thing is we're going to take 53 and multiply that 9 by it, or multiply 9 by everything in the top row. So 9 times 3, everyone knows, is 27. Carry my 2. 9 times 5, 45 plus 2, 47. So there's my top row. Now I've got to change, and I've got to go ahead now and multiply this 20 by everything on the top row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of mark out, let me change colors here. I'm going to mark out this 9 because I'm kind of done with it, and I'm going to mark out that 2. So that way it's not being confused with everything I've already done. So now I'm going to multiply this 20 by everything on the top row. And since I'm multiplying by 20, I have to go down to the second line, and I have to put the 0 placeholder in there. So that knocks it down over to the tens place. So then I can take the 2 and multiply it by everything on the top row. 2 times 3, 6. 2 times 5, 10. Once we have all that multiplied, we've got to come back up here and do this step where we add everything together. So same thing applies. We're just going to add these 2 numbers that we already done right here together. And we end up with 7 plus 0, 7. 7 plus 6. Got it? 13. Good. Carry my 1. 4 plus 1, 5. And 1 plus 0, 1. All right. And if you need to pause it as you get all these notes down, go ahead and do that. But notice I got the same answer doing this method as I did doing the box method. So is one better than the other? No. But they both require different skill sets and both require you to have these in your, kind of like in your toolbox. All right. So if you're back, you're ready for the next problem. This time we're going to do 145 times 23. Once again, I'm going to show you both methods so you can have both methods in your toolbox. So 145 times 23. Doing the area model, I am going to start off by drawing a very lovely box. It's also called the box method. And since I have 3 place value positions up here, I'm going to make it 3 columns. So I'm just going to multiply. I'm going to decompose 145 into 100, 40, and 5. And then I'm going to decompose 23 into 20 and 3. Now, what's next? Got it. Multiply. 2 times 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I should say 2,000 in there. Okay, 20 times 40. 2 times 4 is 8. Attaching those 2 zeros. Okay, 20 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. Attaching 1 0 to make it 100. Next row, 3 times 100. 300. 3 times 40. 3 times 4 is 12. Attaching that 0. 3 times 5, 15. All right, time to add all this up. So we have 2,000 plus 800 plus 100 plus 300 plus 120 plus 15. Going through. If you would like to pause it real quick so you can add up, and then you can come back with me and make sure that we got it right. Adding my first column, I have 5. 3 in my next column. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And carry my 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. So the answer to this problem is 3,335. A lot of awesome math there. All right, standard algorithm. We're going to start off with 145, just rewriting the problem, times 23. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch colors again so not to get confused. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to multiply through everything on the top row. So 3 times 5, 15. Carry my 1. 3 times 4, 12. Plus 1, 13. 3 times 1, 3. Plus 1, 4. I'm done with that, so I'm going to go ahead and mark all of those out. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2 through everything on the top row. So, but before I go over to the 20s, I have to put the 0 placeholder. This is the big part where people mess up all the time. They just automatically want to slide over, start multiplying by 2 because they get so excited about the multiplication and they forget that placeholder. But because we're moving over to the 20s, we have to put that 0 in. Okay, then go ahead and multiply like normal. 2 times 5, 10. Carry my 1. This is why it's important to get rid of these. Either erase them or mark them out in some way so you don't get all your carries mixed up. Okay, 2 times 4 is 8. Plus 1, 9. 2 times 1, 2. What do we got left? Add. You're right. Good job. Go ahead and add. 5. I'm going to go ahead and switch columns or colors again. 5 plus 0, 5. 3 plus 0, 3. 9 plus 4, 10, 11, 12, 13. Carry my 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. Again, exact same answer, just totally different way to do that. And here is your new problem. So what I'd like for you to work on your own is 35 times 25. Those are the two I want you to do. Try the box method first and then the standard algorithm. Again, pause the video till you have both done or one of them done, and then come back and check it, and then you can pause again. So go ahead and pause while you try this on your own. So far you've already done, you should have done the box method first. Since I have 2 digits, I'm going to just break it into 2 columns and 2 rows because my second number is just 2. So I'm going to break this 35. I'm going to decompose that into 30 and 5. And then I'm going to decompose 25 into 20 and 5. Then I go ahead and multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. Attaching my 2 zeros. 2 times 5 is 10. Attaching my 1 0. 5 times 3 is 15. Attaching my 0. 5 times 5 is 25. Go ahead and add all of these up. So I have 600 plus 100 plus 150 plus 25. I get 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6, 7, 8. And we should have gotten 875. Pause again if you haven't tried the standard algorithm. If you've already done it, let's keep going. So again, we have 35 times 25. I'll switch colors. Okay, so 5 times 5, 25. Carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Go ahead and mark out. Get those 2 off. Switching colors so you can know that we're going over. Again, I must like 20s today, so we're going over to 20. Put that 0 placeholder in there. 2 times 5, 10. Carry my 1. 2 times 3, 6, plus 1, 7. And then add them together. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 0 is 7. 7 plus 1 is 8. Guys,